Another fine day here in the QC, and I'm so glad to see it. I hope everyone is well today, and that you are able to get out and see this day. Live, breathe, and have your being in the Most High. It's a better day today here in Charlotte weather-wise. Got some sunshine, and I'm glad to see it. I truly welcome it. Because yesterday it was just like one day put in the middle of a few good ones that was just cold. But anywho, it's a great day. Like I said, I hope everyone is well today and are able to get out and enjoy it. Hopefully you have some sunshine in your neck of the woods and some fresh air. But I am so glad to see this day. And to be able to get up and walk and talk and get some exercise on. Now the reason I said that is because I suffered a major stroke. I had to learn how to talk again and to walk again. And I want to share part of my testimony today that I was reminded of while on our family chat that my family has from day to day. So what happened was my brother wrote a nice poem, and that's to say the least. It was actually beautiful, and I don't usually put that word on a lot of things, but it was very powerful also. And I just text back, no words, and then he went on to explain why he was writing again. And he said he had to give my sister, our little sister, credit for putting foot to butt and him getting out and doing what he knew he should be doing. And basically what he said, she told him to stop concentrating on what you couldn't do and what you could do, and to concentrate on what you can do. And that got my wheels a turning in my mind, because I love to sing. But it's like after I had that stroke, it just hadn't been right. But basically, when I was having all them operations, they forced a tube down my throat, which damaged my vocal cords. And instead of at that time trying to go through an exploration operation, a procedure, and then maybe a procedure itself, I was told that it may be best just to let it heal itself. But I mention that because of my thought for today. A lot of times we are simply going through the motions and procrastinating. And see, pardon me, I jumped up this morning after studying late into the morning or early into the morning about the start of the day. But the Most High woke me up. As soon as I put my foot on the side of the bed, he said, stop going through the motions. I said, oh boy, because he put it in the same seriousness as he put a thought from last week or the prior week before that. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do what you say and not try to force something that ain't gonna fit. And when I did that, like I said, it was confirmed by my brother and sister's text of the day. And the idea of you can't always go with a talent that you can't capitalize on at the moment, but you got to go with what you are able to capitalize on. So I wrote back in the text, thank you both for that idea, because it reminded me not only of that testimony that I haven't been sharing about my vocal cords being damaged and having to learn how to talk again and walk again, but I text back and said I was so stuck up on singing that I forgot I still had a voice. And I went on to say that I'm gonna keep on getting out here exercising my body, making it stronger, and keep on doing these recordings, making my voice stronger, and not overlooking the blessing that it is to be able to walk again. And to talk again. Like I said, you don't know how bad of a feeling when all you can say is and and even that hurts. But the Most High is so gracious and kind to us. See, he looked beyond not only my faults and fears, but he looked beyond what I could see and pointed me in the right direction and said, you just keep walking this path and all that other stuff will work itself out. And slowly but surely, it has. And when they sent me to rehab, I had a very, very good speech therapist who told me, she reaffirmed what the doctors had told me. She was like, Mr. Holloway, we see that a lot in our profession, where our patients' vocal cords have been damaged when going through procedures and operations. She said, and sometimes those damages can be permanent, but a lot of time they have a way of healing themselves. quickly read over my notes. How did I catch my breath? And my thought of the day is, stop going through the motions and the procrastinations. I was all prepared to talk about Moses and the very wise counsel his stepfather gave him. However, the Most High woke me and said, stop just going through the motions. The idea was echoed by an absolutely beautiful poem my brother shared with us on our family text this morning. Afterwards, he came back and gave praise to our little sister for putting foot to butt. He went on to say that she was motivating him by focusing on those talents that he couldn't capitalize on at the moment, and work those talents that are reaping bountiful fruit. Basically, to stop procrastinating and just going through the motions. I was going to look up a text to give with this thought. However, the Father said, that's good enough for now. I will share my word for today because it's one of the major reasons we go through the motions and procrastinations. And it is contaminant. And contaminant means to soil, stain, corrupt, or infect by contact or association. To make inferior or impure by admixture. To make unfit for use by the introduction of unwholesome or undesirable elements. We can get into the mindset of just going through the motions and that of procrastinating because of what we feed our minds. It's just like feeding our bodies junk food, and every time we start feeling the sluggish effects of that unwholesome eating, it's the same as having those unwholesome thoughts, or stinking thinking as my mother would call it. This is where we must be on guard. We must remember that this whole world is trying to persuade us to think after its own thoughts. However, our loving Father has told us in His Word how we should think. Now I shared my script for today. Or should I say, now I share my script for today. And it is Philippians 2, 5 through 11. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, or Yahushua HaMashiach, who being in the form of the Most High, thought it not robbery to be equal with him, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself, and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross, or the tree. And Romans 12 and 2 says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. See, that's how we stop the procrastination and move on into what we're supposed to be doing. Because as I learned in my walk with the Most High, like the text says, it's a time and place for everything. So as much as I love singing, it has a time and a place also. And that I have to concentrate on what He tells me to do daily. See, all I can do is to prepare for what I know is going to happen. And what I mean by that is, I go on to get the tools together. Just like I invested in my studio, most of all the equipment I need. So I'm waiting on the go ahead. And see, a lot of times we outrun the Most High. And then we get to thinking, where my second wind? Oh boy. Where my second wind that usually hits right about now? And it seems like even the elements are fighting you. You used to have a back wind pushing you forward, but now you got a forewind that's holding you back. It's like you fighting against not only your own physical body, but the elements have turned against you also. Oh boy. And I say this because of that fellow that I watched his documentary on the Big Gap. And that was basically him riding from Mexico all the way to Canada. Powerful documentary. 7. Good. But we gotta keep our minds set on what's really important. And that's following and doing what the Most High has called us to do daily. See, this is the most important part of my thought of the day. And that's doing this thing daily. Because as I've learned that what you do every day starts becoming a habit. And when it becomes a habit, it becomes a little bit easier. Not saying it's not going to be hard to get up and get started. But once you get into the groove, it becomes a lot easier. And you start realizing that you're made for this. The Most High created you to do what you're doing. And also, I wanted to add that text, but didn't, about the God of this world has blinded the eyes of those that wouldn't believe or that won't believe. And that's basically saying those that refuse to believe. You see, I don't want to be caught in that category. Where I refuse the glorious light of the gospel or the Basora. But yeah, stop just going through the motions and procrastinating. And the procrastination. And basically, where your mind at? Are you entertaining stinking thinking like you be entertaining them honey buns and them donuts? And ask yourself why I bring that up. And them whole cakes. Saying to yourself you're just gonna eat one slice every few days and then end up eating a half a cake a day. Saying I'll work it off tomorrow. But see, that's the sad thing about what you put in your body and in your mind. It's hard to transform them thoughts without doing it on a daily basis. So we can't continue to feed ourselves unwholesome foods, junk food, which just like it's said, is junk. Hey buddy. Hey here. I know I ain't been speaking to you. What's up with you? When I first started off, that little dog used to come through and be like motivation to me. And the lady would put him in the house from time to time, and I was wondering where he was at. Because, like I was saying in a prior recording about the dog that they brought to my room, one of the care pets, I believe that's what they call him, and how he had so greatly motivated me on my birthday and changed my perspective on my situation that day and on into the future. That little dog used to motivate me when I used to come around that corner every day. And I know he started off talking junk and just barking, but I would always talk back to him in a nice, kind way. So I noticed his barks begin to change. So yeah, that was another encouraging thought that I had to rethink. Because we have to take what the Most High give us. Just like I was saying, I think on the prior recording yesterday, we have to follow his cues and be obedient to his voice only. Because he putting out cues all the time. But the problem is, a lot of times, they're not lining up with what we want to hear and what we want to do. How you doing this time? They just doing their job. Have a good day. Thank you. Speaking of which, that lady sits out on the porch and she'll speak to me every time I come through. And even if I'm not looking that way, I can see her searching for the eye contact. And a lot of times I catch her about when I pass, but I throw up, hey there. She said, hey. So happy to speak to folks. See, that's why I always say, or try to always say, you never know who's watching and what they're going through. Because a lot of times, you don't have to say a word to nobody. Just like that old Levert song. It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. But them just seeing your grit and determination. Because most of you folks on this block have seen me when I was out here pushing the walker. With that big bucket brace on my leg. And the blood-stained wraps on my leg. See, they saw all that. They witnessed all that. But they see me out here right now. Right here, right now. Pushing forward in the right direction. Because of and through the Most High and His power. I almost taught myself happy again. when I think about the goodness of the Most High and all He's done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. The Most High has saved me and continued to. And I thank Him.